will be able to answer any questions you have at the end. Hopefully everybody caught my introduction, and we'll dive right in. So again, the purpose of this is to show you how to do social media. Everyone's going to be at different levels. Some of you might find this not helpful. Others might be like, oh, I've never even thought about this. So hopefully it will be a good combination of everything. Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to give a very general social media overview, and then I'm going to dive right into Canva, which is a free graphic design tool. And the reason I'm going to dive in is because it's both part and parcel. When you develop a Canva graphic, I'm going to show you what you're going to do with it, which would be on social media. So the social media overview, it's free. So that's why everybody from large organizations like Taylor and Francis, which is where I work, and I've been an Informa for almost 10 years, I think. Believe it or not, I mean, we utilize free tools just like a person who is going to be a librarian at a university. You know, we're always trying to expand our budget. So we love free tools, and we try to utilize free tools as much as possible. Another good thing about a free tool and a good thing about social media is, unlike, say, an ad or an email where you're pushing things out, social media is a place where you can engage. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. It's public. So you just have the opportunity to do things on a very wide scale and engage with a great deal of people. And the power of that is that it is free. So you can utilize a lot of user-generated content. You can utilize a lot of things where other people will help you promote your post, as opposed to, like, say, an advertisement. And I'll explain a little bit more about that. So sure, you can pay thousands of dollars in advertising on these tools, or you can learn how to use them so you don't need to do that. So again, LinkedIn is free, Facebook is free, X is free, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much all social media tools are free. So anyone from the entry-level user to someone like me who's been using it for a long time, I find utilizing these free tools is very helpful. So one thing that I find, even the most experienced marketer or communications person, often we're thinking about ourselves. What do we want to do? And this is core. You know, you might be wondering, why is she talking about, theory or philosophy of social media? It's not. This is practice. So as I mentioned, you're going to be a social media expert by the end of this. It's really important, and this is something I need to tell everyone every day. You need to think about the user first. So think about the person that's on that social media channel. Don't think about what I want to accomplish, because that's going to get you nowhere. If you think about, what is the user on LinkedIn? What are they looking for? What do they want? So think about who's going to actually see your post and who will want to see it. So sometimes these are different things. So that's where you're going to develop that skill set for what channel, where you're going to put it. When I say channel, I mean LinkedIn, I mean Facebook. So these are all very different, and you might do, the way you post things is going to be a little bit different. Also, never forget that the entire world can see your public social media post. I've seen people post things and they don't realize that it's public. So always, also by the same token, don't think you're going to just talk to a small group of people. When you post something, you might say, well, I want to reach researchers in the Ukraine. That's great. But when you post that, think about, there's going to be other people who can see that, not just in the Ukraine. So if you want to send a private or a specific message, you probably want to send that via email or some other way. You can still attract people with a post, but just remember, you don't want to alienate people, especially if you're posting in a large public place. If you don't have a LinkedIn account and you need to set up a new one, these can be tricky. So I am available to do one-on-one meetings with people if you need help. It's what I do every day. And I encourage everyone, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, it's a really good idea to have one, because that's where professionals are. That's where researchers are. And whether you post on your account or, say, your organization's account, if you have affiliation with a university or some other organization, I need to emphasize it's really important that you use images. And this might be scary to people who don't do social media every day, but they show that, for example, on LinkedIn, you're going to get 98% more engagement if you use an image. So why bother posting something unless you do the best? So if you do use a LinkedIn post, make sure you use an image. And again, I'm going to show you some tips. If you have specific questions on that, I highly recommend you use an image. Now, the most popular images, in my experience, are authentic. They're of real people like you or your own colleagues. If you tag your colleagues in it, tag Research4Life in it, that's going to give you an even broader reach. Because say you tag Research4Life in your LinkedIn post and Research4Life likes it, that then goes into the Research4Life feed. So, I highly recommend when you do a social media post that you use an image, but make sure you use permission. Don't ever post a photo of, say, 10 people unless you've asked their permission. And never post something that looks bad. It's always good to have an image. Sometimes people will post a link. It used to make a nice image on LinkedIn. LinkedIn changing all the time. So I highly recommend that you use an image. If you're looking for a free image, maybe you don't have images of people, there are some tools such unsplash.com, pexels.com. They have some free images you can use if you're ever thinking you want an image of a book or you want an image of something. Those are all free. So I'm going to dive right in. So as far as social media graphics, we do have some cards available. And we also have some social media cards on Trello. So you can actually go to this website, and I'll provide this presentation for everybody. And you can utilize these, and you can utilize cards that are already made that you don't need to do any changes to. And you can use your own messaging, or you can use messaging that we've provided on the site. So say you want to just promote Research4Life on your LinkedIn. We have a lot of cards available. But what I'm going to show you is if you want to promote something very specific related to Research4Life, we also have several posters and several flyers. For example, in the Country Connectors Canva that you can go ahead and edit, which is very cool because if you actually edit and make it specific to you, it's going to be a lot more eye-catching. It's going to be a lot more engaging. So I'm going to jump right into Canva and how to use it. Again, some of you may have used it before. Some of you may have used other similar tools, but I can't say enough. I should probably try to work for them. I can't say enough about how awesome it has been having Canva in the past few years. It was introduced to me by my Taylor and Francis colleagues. And again, it makes you a graphic design expert, which is great. So we do have a Canva account for Research4Life. We also have one just for Country Connectors. The best person to get your password would be Marsha or Blessing. And we do ask that you don't share the Canva password because we have really important documents in there. And we ask, please don't delete things. It's easy to delete. Luckily, it's 2 steps. So it'll ask you, do you want to delete? Just like, other sorts of office tools you might use. And Canva is really great because you can customize a post without any Photoshop or graphic design skills. So you can see here, at one point, I actually don't think I used this graphic, but I wanted to talk about International Women's Day. So all I did was I went back through some of the blogs we'd done specifically on women. I put their photos in here and I talked about, I made kind of a specialized graphic. And here you could see one of our MOOCs, one of our trainings. We did a graphic for that. So, and it has the Research4Life logo on it, which is great. And that's going to draw attention to your post. So again, this Canva account, we have several pre-made templates in there. So you could take this blue template on the bottom here, and you could put your own text, you could put your own photo, and you can utilize that Research4Life logo in there. So now I'm going to jump right into Canva, and this is what it's going to look like when you open it up, okay? And you're going to see something called General Cards. So say you want to have a lunch and learn at your organization, you're going to start with the screen looking like this. It's going to say home, And on the left, you see design, elements, text, brand hub, uploads, draw. It looks a little confusing, but it's actually very easy to use. So, we have a few templates, as I've mentioned. We have a template here. Stay in touch. Subscribe to our news flash and receive updates. It's kind of a generic post. So how can you go from this kind of generic post to something that's going to be very specific and something that you will use on your Facebook or your LinkedIn to try to promote something that you're doing? So you could see here, on the top right, above the little graphic, there's a lock, there's a plus sign, there's a trash can. Trash means you're going to delete it. Don't do that. So here it is again. What I'm going to do is the little copy sign. It's a plus sign, so it's between the lock and the trash can. I'm literally going to just click that, because what I'm going to do is I want to use this template and I want to reuse it and make something of my own. So that's really easy. There's literally only 3 or 4 things I utilize in Canva. I don't use a lot of the fancy things, but I will use that plus sign. And I'm going to click it. And there we go. We have, this is something we can edit. So now I have text that I want to use. Maybe you have it in a Word document. Lunch and learn this week. Meet the library team at the University of XYZ, who will explain how to access free research for your studies. So I have that now. You saw before, I had our newsletter. Now I have lunch and learn this week, meet the library team. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I could probably make it a little bit more engaging. How can I make it a little more exciting that people are going to go? So again, on the right-hand side, you see a mailbox image. It's really easy to get rid of it and put something better in there. So on the left-hand side, as I mentioned, we have, so I'm starting with left-hand was design. Then you can see elements. So I'm going to click into the elements, and that is going to give me all sorts of graphics. If it has a little crown, it means they cost money. So we don't utilize those, but there are a lot that do not have a crown. So I can type in lunch. I can type in a country. If I want an image, a map of a country, they have all kinds of neat stuff. I can type in pretty much anything, star, so any kind of graphic. I remember I had to do graphics for the holidays last year, and it's really fun. So you type in, I want a lunch graphic, and they'll have it. So I have my lunch box here, and I literally just slide it over. You click it, and it will end up on your graphic, and then you can delete the little mailbox graphic. So there you go. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think this is really going to bring that many people to the event. So I might tweak that lunchbox and make it a little bit larger and make the text a little bit smaller. I don't want to make it too small, and there are reasons for that. But I want this to be eye-catching. And I want to think about my audience. What are they interested in? What would they want to do? So if you click on the image, you'll see a box. And okay, so when you click into the image, you'll see I don't know if any of you have used graphics in Word or anything. It's really, you just click it on and you can make it bigger. It's really easy. Or you can move it around on the page just by using your mouse. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to double check it for typos, and I don't see any. So I'm going to save it, and I'll show you how to save it. And I see some hands raised. I can't answer your questions right now, but I will at the end. And if Marcia or Blessing, you're here, if you can answer any questions specifically in the chat to people, that would be fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go to save the graphic. And that's on the top right-hand side. And I'll show you the next screen. It says share. So that's where you go to save it. See that top right-hand side there. So you can download it. And there I go, download. So you want to download that specific graphic. You click download. And then you'll have a graphic that you can use on X, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So now you have a graphic. You could save it as a JPEG or a PNG. And some of you might be saying, well, this graphic isn't very good because you don't have the time, you don't have the date, you don't have the location. I want to put a lot more text on the image, you might be saying, but that's actually a bad idea. And one thing that we have learned over time is that graphics with too much information are basically inaccessible. They're inaccessible to people of poor vision. And, you know, the point of a graphic is not to tell, you know, write a novel, but basically to entice people. You can put all the information in, there is lots of room in LinkedIn to put all the information in the post. What you want to do with the graphic is get people's attention. Another thing about putting a ton more information in the graphic is when people are mostly going to be looking at these on their phones. So you can imagine if it's okay to read on your laptop right now, you look at this on your phone, you won't even be able to read it. So it's interesting how a lot of people just think, let's put a lot of information on the graphic. It's actually going to, you know, kick themselves in the foot to do that. So, you know, think about the graphic as this is how I'm going to, you know, entice people. You know, you could say, put something like the date and time. Really, it's up to you. You can try different things, but I will say, don't worry about putting everything in the graphic. Utilize the graphic to entice people. You have plenty of room in the Facebook post, in the LinkedIn post to put information about the event and hopefully a link if you have one. So now I'm going to jump right into social media. I did promise you I would teach you a little bit about social media. So if you want to post this on LinkedIn, I'm showing my LinkedIn profile here. You go to the home page. So it's going to be a little different for every tool. Probably many of you are familiar with Facebook. It's going to be similar. So you're going to see start a post. So before you do that, you want to have all your information, you know, in an email or Word document. Make sure you have relevant information about your event and make it sound exciting. You want to cater to your audience. So here's a very formal invite you could see. On Tuesday, August 16th, we are excited to host our very first Lunch and Learn about Research for Life. It will be at the University Library South Campus at 12 noon. We will explain the process to access free research for your studies, and you will receive a certificate of attendance just for coming. We look forward to seeing you there. Any questions, please email us. So here you see in the bold, I've tagged Research for Life. You can also tag colleagues who might be speaking at the event. So you do an @ sign and you put in Research for Life and it will come up. It's a little tricky, doesn't always work, but it will pop up as a hyperlink. So then when your post is live, someone can actually hover over Research for Life and go directly to Research for Life's page. So you have your text in the post, and on the bottom of that post, you're going to see an icons for an image on the left, video, and there's some other things that I don't use. So on the very left, you can upload the graphic that we worked on. And again, if you have a link, maybe more information, maybe you have a sign-up sheet or something. So I would say if you're planning an event, you might want to have a sign-up so you know how many people are coming and if you have to provide food, especially. So pretend that I went ahead and I posted this on my LinkedIn. And unfortunately, with that great graphic that I thought was great with the lunchbox, unfortunately, I didn't get any response. I didn't get any emails. I didn't get any likes on my post. So I'm going to go back and strategize and think, how can I make this post better? I'll do another post. So nobody's contacted me and it's a week away. And I literally just get these emails in my inbox all the time. Help. So it's time to use some social media strategy. The strategy we're going to use is influencer strategy. So we know I'm using Funshu. He's very popular at his university. So just for an example of one of our colleagues for Research for Life, I'm going to use his image. You might say, well, you have to ask them first, of course. But, or someone at your university, you're going to use their image, or maybe it's your image. So you grab that image from the web, or you ask them for a JPEG, and you want to tag him. So remember we went and we tagged Research for Life? we want to tag the individuals that we're going to be talking about in the post, because then it's going to end up in their feed and hopefully they will like it and then and share it. So we want to utilize our colleagues or maybe the university to get them to help us promote this post, because when you reach LinkedIn, you might just reach a very small group of people. You want to reach outside those people. So go to Elements. Once you get the headshots, once you get the images, you can upload a file. So here's where before we created a new image. Here we're going to upload. It's really easy. You upload an image of anything into Canva. You don't have to just be restricted to their images. So now I'm going to make a much more dynamic post. We're going to promote using individuals and a photo. And as I mentioned, there are statistics that say you're going to get 98% more engagement on a post on LinkedIn if you use a photo. I'm sorry, use an image. I don't know stats on photos, but anecdotally, it's going to get a lot more in my experience. So you're going to also make this a little bit more urgent because we didn't get anything. So, you know, Lunch and Learn Tuesday. Did you know our library has access to thousands of free peer-reviewed articles in the sciences and humanities? Meets head of Central Library, Funcho Norbu, to hear more. So this is a lot more engaging, because you're saying, okay, wow, this guy's an expert. I'm going to learn from him. And no, I didn't know that we had thousands of resources. So this is going to get me a little bit more interested, hopefully. So again, I'm going to change up my text in the post too. I'm going to talk about what I call pain points. So have you ever had issues acquiring research papers to complete your degree? Next Tuesday, Funchu Norbu will speak at Central Library 12 noon, Tuesday, August 15th, to explain how to access thousands of free articles. Lunch will be provided. We still have a few spots available, but act soon. Please click the link to sign up or email us at communications@us.com. So here I go. I have my new graphic, my more exciting language. I'm tagging people. So suddenly, yes, I have success. I've gotten so many emails from this, and I've gotten signups, and I got 40 likes on my post. 30 of them were colleagues of people I tagged. So this is how you really utilize social media and you utilize Canva to get more activity, to become an expert. So a couple things. One thing that is I've learned, Taylor and Francis is really wonderful about accessibility. What is accessibility? Accessibility is remembering that when you post on social media, there might be people who are vision impaired. If you create a video, there might be people who are hearing impaired. So you need to remember all that when you post. Luckily, LinkedIn provides something called alt text. So when you go to edit your photo, there's something on the right there called alt text. It's not that complicated. You just have to explain what your image is. That way, if somebody is blind and using a screen reader, meaning what a screen reader does is it tells people audibly what is in the image. So that's why it's important to use alt text, and it describes what's in the image. So a couple other things about Canva. There is a back button similar to, say, a Word document. It will allow you to go back if you've made a mistake. Canva also has video. I don't use a lot of video, but I have in the past. So, you know, I tend to find that just a static image is going to work great as far as a social media post. So you don't always need to use an image. You don't always need to create an image. Sometimes you could just put an image. So an image of a group of people, that could work just as well. You don't need to put text on the image. Again, you're trying to draw people's attention. So any sort of image you want to use could probably work well. So we have some of these similar social media posts in the Canva for country connectors that you should have access to. And so Domi, actually, who is also from Elsevier, who works with us, she's done some wonderful work on graphic design. So we have so many resources in Canva that you can use. So as far as style, there are some specifics we do ask that you follow. they're not too complicated. So we follow the WHO and other UN organizations in using American English. That means we don't use Oxford commas. I've seen a lot of people use British English too, but we do, as a rule, try to use American English. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a post in the language of your country, it's French or Spanish or another language. But if you're going to do English, we do ask that you do American English. This is a date and time notation example. There's no need to capitalize each word. Titles get a sentence case. And we try to use very simple, plain and direct language. We don't use bureaucratic terminology. And being mindful to avoid language that perpetuates harmful or old-fashioned stereotypes. And, we're always evolving our language. Right now, we're using low and middle income countries, LMIC. We're actually moving away from, since I did this presentation, from Global South. So, if you do use certain language, if you ever have a question, you're not sure, you can check in with Blessing, you could check in with Marcia, you could check in with one of the Evelyn, you could check in with myself, or one of the new co-chairs, Audrey or Craig. And also, these are some of the standard tool words and terms. We do not use developing countries, developing world. And okay, so a good reference, we do have the strategic plan to 2030, and that is a good reference point for checking language. And here are some fonts. These fonts are all in Canva. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We do recommend that you utilize these fonts. So things are looking the same. It's not looking completely different from, say, what Research4Life is going to put out. And I've added something to this presentation since the last time I did it. I just want to remind everybody that we do have a LinkedIn. We do have a Facebook. We do have X. And I'd love today, for all of you who are not following us, I'd like to bring that number to 5,000. I challenge everybody. We have 87 people. So I think we can maybe bring that number, and I'd love to see it. I'll look tomorrow and see if we've gone from 4,983 followers to 5,000. That would be fantastic. We have worked really hard on LinkedIn, especially the past 2 years, because LinkedIn has become more and more important. A lot of people have moved away from X. We've thought about moving away from X ourselves, but we still do have some potential people on X we'd like to reach. Facebook is great, but LinkedIn is really where you can meet and attract people who are researchers, people who are professionals. On Facebook, a lot of people's profiles, sometimes it's hard to tell what they do, who they are. But on LinkedIn, it's a really transparent place where you can see where people are and you can make connections. I actually met Research4Life on LinkedIn. I'd seen someone from the STM organization who had worked at Taylor and Francis had posted they were looking for a co-chair about 2 years ago. And I said, why not? I'll try. So I think that LinkedIn is I can't emphasize enough. Please, everybody, follow us on LinkedIn. Please, everyone, think about being on LinkedIn if you aren't already. And I am available for one-on-one meetings. I'm happy to help you, coach you, to teach you a little bit more on LinkedIn and how to optimize your profile. LinkedIn is important because you can reach people. And the reason I ask you to help us with Research4Life is because, we post with Evelyn. I work so hard to create content and post on LinkedIn, but unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't really help us boost that. It shows it to our followers. Sometimes it doesn't show it. I won't go into the details of the analytics and the algorithms, but it kind of is against organizations. The algorithms aren't great. But when you or one of your colleagues likes a post, that goes into your feed, and that's free advertising. So please do please comment, and please follow us there. We need every individual to help us spread the word. I know everybody's busy, but go ahead once in a while, just look at our page and like and share. So not only does that help our organization, it actually helps make your profile more dynamic. And I have to admit, I wish I was a little more active on LinkedIn myself. I'm so busy working for Taylor and Francis and Research4Life, sometimes I don't do my own promotion, but every time I like something, again, that pops up, and my colleagues might say, well, that looks interesting. Or Leah's a really interesting person. She's doing all this interesting stuff. So, like things, comment things, because that shows up on your feed. And it also helps us and it helps promote us. Last but not least, the other day we got an email from one of our colleagues, and he had a couple sentences and some pictures, some images. We can develop a story. If you have we don't expect you to have the entire story written, but if you're doing something interesting and we haven't profiled it yet, drop us a line at the communications inbox. We will interview you and we will tell your story related to Research4Life. On our LinkedIn profile, we might even develop it into a blog. I will go back to my comment earlier that if you have an image, unfortunately, we do need permission from everybody in that image. We don't want to put images out of people that they have not given us permission. But this is what we're running on. This is our fuel for our blog, our fuel for our social media. This is all of you. So we'd love to tell your story. And again, this is going to help make our posts more impactful. So every authentic story that we tell and share on social is another opportunity to find more people who need us. And maybe we could find more people who fund what we do too. All right, I'm gonna look at the chats and, oh, okay, yeah, we'll definitely share the video. Oh, I don't think that I saved, I don't think I recorded, I apologize, but we do have a recording of my last one, which we can share. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for coming today. Okay, so everybody's, yeah, we're definitely going to share the slides. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I believe we have a recording from last time that we did. Let's see, any other questions I can answer here. And again, saying hello to Lenny, he's in Florida. We're having some horrible weather. I haven't heard the latest. I heard last night. So prayers to Florida and hope everybody's okay. Yeah, so I'm going to look at the questions here. Okay. All right. So there was some concern that the talk was not, they weren't 100% understanding. It's confusing. So I'm going to go back through a little bit. We have some time. And people are having trouble seeing my cursor. So I'm going to go back with that. Yeah, we'll definitely put the PowerPoint in. And I'm going to share the slides. All right. Okay. All right. I'm sorry you had some poor audio today. All right, let's go quickly. We have plenty of time here. And I apologize. I'm not personally a graphic designer, so I didn't have a graphic design team to do my PowerPoint. So I'd like to go a little bit about, maybe go a little bit more into detail about using Canva. All right, so a few people had questions about cursors, and feel free to drop in any more notes, and then I'll give some open if anybody wants to have more questions at the end. So when you're looking at Canva, there's just a couple things you will use. On the right-hand side, this is your image. Above the image, there's a plus sign, there's a trash can. The plus sign is what you will utilize, okay? If you want to recopy an image, use the plus sign. On the left-hand side, typically what you're gonna do is be in the design page. If you want to utilize one of their graphics, you would utilize what's called the elements, which is right below design. So while we have 25 different things we could play with here, we're really only going to do 3 or 4. The plus sign is key, the element sign for images, and the uploads. So I'm going to go to my next one. So the plus sign is how you would copy an image. And there are really no cursors as far as text. It's kind of just go in and play around with it. I will say the first time I ever went into Canva and played with it, I had success. It's a lot of it is using your own mouse and going over it. You can't make a mistake, which is the great thing about it. It's a really simple tool. You can also, if you want more advanced, I will provide a video from Canva that teaches you how to use it. It's probably a lot better than my video. But this is just me as a user showing how easy it is. But Canva probably has more elaborate um, with actual professional designers developing and showing you how to do it. But again, the best thing you want to do is that plus sign above the image, and on the left-hand side, know what you need. So you're going to need either elements if you want to search in the search box for an image, or you're going to use uploads. So here again, where I used elements on the left-hand side and lunch, I typed in a word because I'm looking for an image, and that was the best way for me to find that. And again, they're really the best way to play with Canva is to just go in and use it. You're going to use your cursor, as you can see. Once you click on an image and you slide it over, it's going to have those little squares on the right-hand side, and you can delete things. If you delete by mistake, use the top-hand side. To the right of resize is the back button. So again, it's really easy to use. You're going to be using, again, 3 things: the plus sign, the element sign to find an image, and you're going to use the uploads. There's not a heck of a lot of other things you're going to be using here. And the download, that's pretty much it. So I'm happy to, again, I talked about doing one-on-ones. If anyone has specific questions about putting up how to do a LinkedIn profile, I will provide this PowerPoint for people afterward. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. I'll give you my email address in the chat, actually, so we don't send 100 emails to Evelyn. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's pretty basic. Go into Canva, create a graphic, and then optimize that graphic on LinkedIn or Facebook. And this will be provided. I will see if there are any other messages in the chat here. Oh, good to know from Lenny. Oh, all right. Somebody is having issues with sound. I'm so sorry. All right, let me see. Let me go back to have some questions here. It's very specific questions. We'll definitely, I don't know, we definitely have a video. I'm going to check with Marsha and Blessing. We do have a video last time that we recorded. I'm not sure if we're recording this one. We might be. Okay, yes, thank you so much. The recording and slides will be shared to everyone after the webinar. Great. All right, so is it only Canva that one can use to make a picture? No, I mean, you could use Photoshop, you could use pretty much anything, but we provide a Canva tool that has all of the templates. So it has the Research for Life logo. It has some of these little ideas that makes it really easy. Like you can literally make a graphic in 5 minutes. So we invite other people if you want to, well, if you really want to use other tools, but we do have the Canva with the Research for Life logo with some of these templates that you can utilize. That's why, again, it's so easy to use. Let me see what else. Using social media apps, we do not have access. Any suggestion? How to avail Canva for all time. All right. As far as I know, in my experience, if you want to have your own personal Canva, it's not a trial, although things might have changed. When I do have my own personal, and I've had it for a couple of years actually. So if you want to have your own personal version of Canva, it should be free. You're not going to have access to, for example, templates. So yeah, that's my suggestion. I will give you my email if you want to, if you know, you can let me know the issue you've had with Canva. But as far as you know, if you want to have your own personal Canva, it is free. That's what my experience has been. They might have different, it might have changed since I started using it. But as far as access to the Research for Life Canva, everyone should have access to that. And we have passwords that we can give you. Right. All right, let's see. Do we need to download any setup to use Canva? No. All you need to do is go to the Canva website and it'll ask you the sign-in information. You can use it on your laptop, you can use it on your phone. I personally don't like to use it on my phone because it's really small. And I like to use it on a laptop because I have fat fingers. No, but I like to use my mouse and click on and play with it. You can use it on your phone in a pinch. So say you worked on something, you're like, oh, I just remembered I have to add something to the image, and you could do it quick on your phone. But I personally don't like using my phone. I like to use a laptop. Let's see what we got. Yeah, no, really nice. Thank you for the nice comments. Oh, yeah, it's great. And I think we actually use this not just for, you don't have to just use it for Research for Life. You know, you can use some of those tips on LinkedIn for your research paper if you're a researcher. And I will say, I've seen researchers post things on LinkedIn, and there are two things that I've seen them do wrong. And it's not their fault, they don't have social media training. They make their posts extremely long, and I don't think people have time to read them. They sometimes will post like a link to an image, but it's not a nice image. So it's better for them to actually try to put an image in the LinkedIn post they do about their research. So if you have a book, put the cover of the book, maybe a screenshot of the front of the paper, something that's going, or even the abstract, something that's going to draw people in. You know, I've seen a lot of researchers tag their teams on LinkedIn. That's a great idea. Keep it short, keep it exciting, keep it interesting. You know, definitely go ahead and share. And don't be discouraged if the first time you share something on LinkedIn, you don't get a lot of response. Just keep sharing. You know, I've seen people share things on LinkedIn, professionals, and they've gotten 2 likes, and sometimes they get 200 likes. So sometimes it's just people are fickle. Oh, good idea. Certificate of participation. We don't have one for this, but it's something for Marcia and Blessing to think about in the future, to give a certificate of participation. And I will jot that down. Yes, that is my email address. Thank you. KellerandFrancis.com. It can also do informa.com. And I think we're good to go. I'm going to just see if there's any other questions. I'm going to put out my other email too. So what I'm offering people is, if you have questions about LinkedIn, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm happy to help you. You know, trying to figure out how to do your LinkedIn profile, anything like that. And again, thank you so much for your time. We will provide the slides. I'm sorry for some people who had trouble following with the cursors, but hopefully looking at the slides and then going into Canva, you will be able to figure out how to do it. And I can't emphasize enough that I am not a technical person. As many of you noticed, it took me a while. Marcia had to help me get my PowerPoint. So I'm not a technical person. I'm a poor artist, but using Canva made me a really good designer, and I really love it. So again, thank you so much. I don't know. Hello, everybody. So I don't know. I think we can close up a little early. Lenny or Marcia, anybody, do you want to chat, or we're good to finish up?
Hi, Leah. Yeah, I don't see any more questions in the chat. Looks like you've answered. So if there's nothing else, I think we can close. Unless if Lenny has got anything to add, or Blessing, if there's anything to add, please, you may unmute yourself.
All good from my side, Masha, and thank you to Leah. I don't know, Lenny, over to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have one question that somehow with the Q&A. Sorry, I missed that. Is there any online short self-study to learn how and what to post in social media? Well, I think this would be the best thing as far as like learning how to post in social media. Really what you want to do is make sure you have an image. Make sure you think about your audience. What do you want to tell them? Tag other people as long as you ask them first. As far as what to post in social media, the sky's the limit. I mean, you can post about something wonderful that's happened to you. You can post about research. You can post to get people to read something or to come to an event. I think that's mostly what I see on LinkedIn, is people excited about the work that they're doing with their colleagues. So that's really what to post is something you want to share with people. And how to post is, you know, if you have these tactics down, you're going to be better than, I hate to say it, but many marketers. I've seen marketers who don't know some of these simple tips. So, you know, keep it short, keep it interesting. Think about you. Like, what do you like to see on social media? What do you like to see on LinkedIn? You might not use LinkedIn a lot, but think about some of the things that have made you stop and maybe look. And typically for me on LinkedIn, it's seeing my colleagues win an award, seeing my colleagues do something new, do something exciting, something they're proud of, and utilize that language. You know, I'm proud to be working with this. I'm proud to have done this research paper, because if you do that, that gets people excited. All right, I think I'm good. I think we're good. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this presentation. Thank you so much to Marsha, Lenny, Blessing. I think we're good to go. So we'll make sure you all get the information at the end, and I'm happy to help anybody if you had specific questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking or that come up in the future. You know how to reach me, okay? Thank you so much to everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.